Patrick Cook here. Well, thanks for joining me in session number 2 of our discussion of why we create Mandelbulb 3D art. In the first session, I had left off by talking about the fact that we have like almost an unlimited possibility for our graphic. All right, and I wanted to pick up on that thought here in this second session. Now, what I meant by that is that we have in the Mandelbulb application, we'll just set focus here on the Formulas tab, where you can see here that we've got up to 6 formula slots that we can load, and each of these formula slots can be assigned one of, 428 different formulas that we have available to us that come installed with the application. That's absolutely amazing. A formula is a mathematical script that will process equations that are then the outcome of the equations are then used to determine a pixel location on the screen. Okay. So the outcome of a formula may say as the formula is run. Now these formulas are run over and over and over again because their outputs are most of the time their formula outputs are kind of put back into the formula, and so the outcome of the formula will produce different mathematical numbers. These numbers are then translated into pixel positions on the screen. Okay. Now, if a formula has an output that stays within a particular value, all right, then they will be utilized to create your graphic on the screen. If the formula output is beyond or above that particular value range, it's referred to as having escaped, and it no longer actually is used as a pixel on the screen. All right, so the formula is run. The output of the formula, the outputs of the formula that don't escape are then converted into pixels and create your graphic. All right, now that's about as simple as I can put it. Now, on the topic of virtually unlimited graphics, okay, you'll notice here that we have in this particular case 4 different formulas have been assigned. Okay, now each of these formulas is going to have an impact on the other formulas. Formula number 1 will run, and you get pixels. Formula number 2 will run, and that's going to have its own pixels, but it'll have an impact on how the pixels of Formula 1 were placed. So Formula 2 basically changes the graphic, the end result graphic. Same process. Formula 3 will have an impact on the pixel positions of Formulas 2 and 1. 4 runs, it impacts 3, 2, and 1 pixel positions. In the alternate mode, all right, each formula will run. Formula 1 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs, and they all have an impact on each other in terms of pixel positions. All right. Interpolate, there's only 2 formulas you'll notice here, 2 formula slots. Okay, formula slot 1 and 2. Okay. What happens there is Formula 1 runs, Formula 2 runs, and then the software will take the average of the 2 formulas where they intersect, where the outcome of the output or the values of the formulas, where those values will intersect. They take the average of that value, and that goes to the screen. All right, in the DE combinate mode, you have 6 formula slots here too. Okay, that's a very special type of formula where the formulas that are assigned will run, but then there's a distance estimate, DE, that is then calculated to determine the endpoint or the distance that the pixel basically travels and becomes a point on the screen. All right. We're not here to talk about the Mandelbulb3D application other than its ability to enable us to be artists in the Mandelbulb generative art. All right, so let's go back. Let's kind of set this up now. Now, the cool thing about all of what I just described is that you have like virtually unlimited graphical capabilities. All right, you have the 3 formula modes, alternate, interpolate, and decombinate, and each of those can have 6 formulas assigned, or in the case of interpolate, 2 formulas. In the case of decombinate, up to 6 formulas. And you've got 428 already made formulas that come installed with the Mandelbulb3D that you can use and combine. And you can even write your own formulas if you wanted to, and if you learned how to. Okay? So given what I just said in the last 40 seconds, it's a fair and accurate statement that you have virtually unlimited graphical possibilities with this Mandelbulb3D software application. Now, what it comes down to is this. You set the stage. You get to decide your mode. You get to decide the formulas. And you get to decide the properties of the formulas. What you get from that is like virtually impossible to predict. And that takes us back to the point that I made in the first session, where this is a whole process of discovery. You set the stage, that is, you decide the formulas, the formula properties, you play with those formulas and those formula properties, and then you punch the button and you see what you get. If you like what you get, great. If you don't like what you get, great. That's the process of discovery. And that is a very delicious process, because it's sort of like you're going along and you're, I mean, in the first session here, I did 3 iterations. Changed the, change the scale, I changed the fold property, and I pushed it back over the main. I didn't like it. All right, but that's the cool part about it, is you get to accept and you get to reject the graphics. Let's do a little bit more. All right, so I'm back down here on the navigator. I'm gonna go. Let's go pick on Formula 4, Koch Oct. All right. Let's just come down here and manipulate the scale. Ooh. Now that is interesting. All right. I am manipulating the scale of the Koch Oct formula. Okay, let's see what that. Now let's push that back up to main. Okay, now I don't like this, and it's got a lot of problems. One here is that the Mandelbulb, this part of the graphic here, is clipped. All right, and this is where and this part right here, this is all clipped. See that gray area there? Flat. It's like a flat color. All right, there is no real good way to know when a graphic is clipping. By clipping, and I talked about this in a tutorial, clipping is where your Mandelbulb object Mandelbulb is attempting to simulate a three-dimensional Mandelbrot. All right, it's got 3 dimensions now. It's not just flat. It's got 3 dimensions. All right, and that part where it clips there is actually the Mandelbulb is going beyond where the pixel can be well defined. All right, and basically the pixel just kind of gets cropped off. All right. It's not a pixel that's going beyond the camera. It's a pixel that is being clipped off, and it just doesn't have any visual value in the graphic. All right, so there's clipping going on here. But this is all right because this is all part of the discovery. Part of your discovery is not just an interesting design, graphic design. A big part of your discovery is it technically good? All right, let's end this session here. We'll pick it up in session number 3, and I'll continue to talk about this, why we do Mandelbulb art. I'll see you there.